The fire's in her belly, and the next stage of Canadian Pacific's overhaul is underway. Welcome to In the Loop. Hello folks and welcome to the Watercress Line. Now before we have a look at what's happening behind me here, it's time for a quick fire look around the railway to see what's been happening since the last episode. We start with some sad news. After being overhauled and seeing out her 10 years service with the Watercress Line, the railway said farewell to Cheltham, sending her back to the National Railway Museum at York earlier this week. As one of the only 3 surviving schools class locomotives remaining, she'll provide a great addition to the rest of their collection on display, and more importantly, the locomotive will be protected from deterioration by being kept undercover away from the elements. It was a sad sight to see her go, but it was wonderful that the Watercress Line had the opportunity to give her another chapter in her life. Now some exciting news here from the carriage works. Our bullies coach, which we've been following while it's been having its roof done, well, all the timbers are now in. Tim is currently working his way up and down, filling in all these screw holes, making it nice and flush for the next stage, which is epoxy. And this is going to follow the same process that our BY van followed. The principle being that the coach will last a lot longer than a few years with this new technology. And well, on the line of new technology, you can see that health and safety has definitely come on a long way since these coaches were originally built. Looking at the Erie Loco Society and their engine 499, they're currently doing some riveting work along the tender, which is all of this stuff. Now, to give you an idea of the age difference and what technology kind of came to, when we've looked at our standard 4 or Weybridge's tender, they're all 2 separate bits. You have a tank and the chassis. Well, this is an older version, it's one of the same. So this is the base of the tank, and then going to start building the exoskeleton around and then constructing the sides to make it all watertight. Exactly like you can see on 506. And actually, while we're here, let's hop underneath to show you something which I'm pretty sure you haven't seen before. Another feature they fitted to the tender is this. This is the sump. It serves 2 purposes. The first one is to give you your feed water to the injectors, so the pipes go onto these blanks here, and you can also drain down the tender using, well, by literally taking the plug out. Inside here, one problem you can get with injectors is debris getting into the system. So inside here there's a number of sieves, and that will catch anything. You can then take the plate off and take that debris out periodically, a bit like a locomotive washout. Looking ahead, on Saturday the 6th of July, the Erie Loco Society are going to have their annual open day. It's a fantastic day with 506 running. The sheds are going to be open so you can have a good look, come and meet the team, chat to Barry, chat to the rest of the team, and find out a little bit more about the project, how it's going, and what the next steps are going to be. They're very excited to give us some really good announcements, so definitely worth a visit. They're also going to be joined by the Somerset and Dorset group with a stall, and Kilmerston is going to be giving breakdown rides in the Ropley yard. So lots to look forward to, and the 6th of July is the date for your diary. Now, looking at previous events, a few weekends ago the railway held its All Change event. A really eclectic mix of various attractions, steamrollers, vintage vehicles. It was wonderful. And up here at Ropley Miniature Railway, they held a steam gala with their brand new locomotive Ivor out in service, and 2 guest engines, one from the Hastings Miniature Railway and the Eastleigh Lakeside Railway. A fantastic weekend all round, and yes, can't wait till next year. Now, onto our diesels, and you may have already seen that for our upcoming diesel gala, all our visitors have been announced, and my, what a lineup! From HST's power cars to 2 Class 50s, the 4TC, and much more. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic weekend. Looking at our diesel fleet at the moment, one of the Class 20s was having a bit of an air leak problem, which was affecting the control systems for when they run in multiple. So you have both of these coupled together, one driver controlling both engines, but that's now fixed and they can now operate. Another reason to look forward to the gala. The Class 47 is waiting for some generator brushes, so consumable parts, and the 50 is waiting for its generators to come back. So that's going to be on static display in the yard. It's really interesting to have a look in there without an engine in the engine room, so definitely worth a visit. Now looking at our Hampshire unit, work has been continuing in the background, and if you are coming to our diesel gala, then the plan is to have this on static display so you can meet the team, find out a bit more about the unit, and we're hoping there will be some big announcements. A lot to look forward to, and another reason to book your ticket now for the diesel gala. Details are available at watercressline.co.uk. Now, in a previous episode, we've mentioned Southampton Solent University and the students who come down here to make videos. Now those have started being put online now on YouTube, so do go and have a watch. And as a little background to what was happening, every year students from Southampton Solent University in the film and media production side, they come down to make videos. From their point of view, their course, they need to work with a client. So we provide that as the Watercress line. They have to plan, film, direct, edit their video, and that goes towards their course. From our side, we get to see the videos and get to keep them as well. We also provide the kind of facility, we provide people to take care of them, supervise them, provide some expert knowledge as well, so they can develop and hone their skills for future in film and media production. So do go and give them a watch. It's really interesting from a personal point of view to see what non-railway people, well, not necessarily railway people, find of interest here at the Watercress line. So yeah, enjoy. Oh, and one last thing. John from Virginia, USA. Thanks for your postcard, it did get through. And while we're here, I'd like to take a quick shout out to Dave from the Picture Victory Railway down in Australia. Our volunteer Martin went down there for a little visit and he absolutely loved it, so thanks for your hospitality. Right, back to the episode. Well, a lot's happening here at the Watercress line. Now as you can see, Canadian Pacific's boiler has been wheeled outside and a fire has been lit for the first time. Smoke billows out the front and steam roars from the top. This is part of the warming procedure before the main boiler test occurs. So to find out a little bit more, we chatted to one of our volunteers, Brian, who you may remember from a previous visit down to Eastleigh.
Hello, my name is Brian. I've been involved on the CP project now since 2015, particularly on CP. Today we're out here in the yard. The fire has been lit. This is for a process of de-stressing the boiler, which is what we're doing is actually light the fire in the boiler to warm the boiler up, get all the materials and the whole boiler, inner firebox, outer wrapper, up to temperature so that it can then cool down again and we can de-stress all the materials in the boiler. The reason for de-stressing the boiler is because, as you probably realise, that when you heat things up, they will expand and contract when they cool. And we have to allow for that in the manufacture of the boiler. So when the boiler is mounted on the frames, it is fixed at the front, and then when it heats up, the whole boiler can expand and it's allowed to slide slightly on the frames with that expansion, so as we're not causing any stresses. We've got the boiler filled with water. It's not putting under pressure at the moment because we've got no safety valves on, and you'll be able to see the actual water in the boiler bubbling away. We've got all the extra fittings fitted to make it watertight, and as you can see, we've got the gauge frames here so we can keep an eye on the water level in the boiler. So when it's actually steaming at the moment, we're not going to lose too much water, and we can obviously, as I say, top that up with a pump in through the safety valve openings. The next stage is to fit the safety valves so that we can then do a test under pressure, and that will be when we get the boiler inspector in to come and inspect it and check all round. He's going to be happy that there's no problems. Once the boiler's inspector has passed the steam test, then the next stage will be to actually finish putting all the rest of the fittings on the boiler and the various other accessories, and eventually it will then be joined up with the frames and lifted into the frames, and we will then put all the other extra bits and pieces on to actually plumb it all up together and put all the cladding around it to make it look properly like an engine.
Well, there we are. A view you don't get to see often, and a momentous day for the Canadian Pacific team. They are every right to be proud of themselves. It's a huge occasion and plenty more progress to come. Now, it'd be rude not to at this point to say thank you to everyone who's supported this project so far, from individual donations, sponsoring one of the many thousands of stays that go into the boiler, and you can see them in work at the moment, and of course to the National Lottery Heritage Fund for their continued support with this project. But that is it from us for now. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you to Brian for chatting to us, and we'll see you next time.